to it. And I would just keep the conversation. I would try to talk as much as I could about not what I'm selling, but about other things, because I stand out completely different. And I tried to find a way to put myself in a different category than everybody else. If he puts me in the same category as the coupon sales guy, or puts me in the same category as the phone book sales guy, then that's all I'm as good as, is the person in that same category. So remember that the success comes from standing out, whether it's pink hair, which I love, or whether it's putting yourself in your own category, will help you stand out. Telling a story. If you haven't been able to tell yet, I love to tell stories. It's how I sell. It's how I do a lot of different things in my businesses. For example, when I'm doing my presentation for the Soul, I talk about how people have pride in New Mexico. Well, the best example of this, who here has seen one of our Soul scarves? I brought them in here before. It's like our best-selling merchandise item. It's a scarf. It's a soccer thing, for those of you who don't know. It's soccer fans have worn scarves since the 1800s. Soccer started in England. See what I'm doing? Telling a story. Soccer started in England in the 1800s, and you play in the winter, and it's cold and it's damp, and everyone would wrap up and put scarves around them. And then the teams caught on and said, well, why don't we put our logos on the scarves? That way they'll buy them and they'll show their team pride. And that's how soccer scarves started. So we started 3.5 years ago. We ordered some scarves. We just bought our franchise. Our franchise fee was about $50,000. And we'd spent about another $40,000 getting the whole thing started. So we were putting the whole $90,000 to start. Okay, we got to start making money. So we ordered these scarves. We got them through a supplier, reseller in Seattle who was getting them from Europe, and we were paying way too much back then. We know better now. And we ended up getting them for about $12.75 a scarf plus shipping. So we were going to sell them for 20 bucks, and we were going to make about $5 a scarf. So we designed the scarf. We placed the order. 6 weeks later, they show up. Keep in mind, we still hadn't played a game. We were a soccer team that still hadn't played a game. We were going to networking events. We were going to chamber events. We were trying to collect email addresses and send emails out and put social media posts. A lot of you guys knew me when we were doing this. And we just put it out there, pre-sale, buy a scarf. And I think we needed 46 scarves to break even. We did the pre-sale. We sold 42 of them. So we were 4 short. I'm like, yeah, that's great. We pre-sold 42. We'll sell the rest. So the scarves come in. We're opening the first box. And we're looking at, oh my God, these are so cool. And Larry, who's usually here, but he's traveling with the team today. Larry opens the first one, throws it to me. We put it in the envelope, about ready to ship it off. And I look at Larry, and I didn't say it this way. I said it a little more harshly. I said, oh crap. He said, what? I said, we forgot to charge for shipping. We charged him the 20 bucks in the tax, but we forgot to charge him the shipping. How much is this going to cost? We went over to the post office, put it in the envelope, $7 for shipping. So all this time, we've been trying to figure out how to make money instead of spend money, and we're going to go and lose $2 a scarf. So what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So we came up with the idea. I think it was Larry that came up with the idea. Let's do a scarf release party. Let's do what Albuquerque the Magazine does. Every time they have a new issue, they do a launch party for that issue. So we did a scarf release party. We called the partner bar. Again, we hadn't played a game. We barely have any fans. We called the bar that we were partnered with and said, close down the bar on Thursday. We're coming in to do a party. And they're like, okay, you're going to have enough people? Yeah. So I'm just praying that 20 people of these 42 that bought show up to pick up their scarf. We put it on Facebook. We send the email, please show up. So we get there. The bar hadn't opened. It was in a hotel. So the bar hadn't opened yet. And it was about 15 people in line when we got there. Okay, that's a good sign. Next thing you know, people come and go. 200 people at the party. The 42 we pre-sold, only 7 of them picked them up. So there was 35 others that had people's names on them. Well, the rest of the people wanted to buy these things. Next thing you know, we're sold out. Yet we got 35 scarves sitting over there with Post-it notes on them. So what do? I look at Larry. He looks at me. I'm like, all right. So we pull the Post-it notes off. We start selling those scarves. And then Larry, bless him, the next day calls all those people and says, great news, you're going to get a free T-shirt. Because we accidentally sold your scarves, so we're going to do a new order coming in. Once you did your first order, your reorders are really quick, 2 weeks. So we said in 2 weeks we're going to get your new scarf in, and you're going to get a free shirt with it. And we sold the rest of the scarves, and it worked out fine. We got up on the microphone, and we said, when you travel, please take your scarf with you, and post a picture and put a hashtag Soul Sighting. And hopefully somebody will do this from somewhere else in the United States, let alone the world. And it'll work. It was a joke. I'd had a couple drinks. I was excited. I got up on the microphone. I said this. I didn't expect anybody to do it. It was a Thursday night at 8 p.m. that happened. 6 a.m. the next morning, we get a picture message to our Facebook account. I'll show it to you guys later, from in front of Madison Square Garden with the scarf. So how is that possible? So there's a JetBlue red-eye that goes from Albuquerque to JFK every night. This guy was on that flight that night. He came to the party first, followed our direction, took the scarf with him, and took a picture. And that's how the hashtag soul sighting. So if you have your cell phones, go ahead and search on Facebook, hashtag soul sighting. We've had them now from 250 different places in the world. We've had them a couple weeks ago from the Royal Palace of Cambodia. Didn't even know they had a royal palace, but they do, and the scarf's been there. Had them from the Shire in New Zealand. We've had them from Russia, Tokyo, and of course every corner of the United States. People now come to our office on their way to the airport. I kid you not, they call us and say, we're going on vacation, we need to get our scarf. And people will do it. So each year now, we create a new scarf, of course, right? Because we have to sell a different one. And the first year it was red and yellow stripes. Second year it was yellow and the logo connected. Third year it was, or second year was a silk one, the logo connected. And then this year we were studying millennial marketing. And if you guys remember Lucas Cash, the speaker we'd had a while back, we had just done this idea of let's have our fans design the scarf. So we basically crowdfunded instead of Fiverr. We crowdfunded this or outsourced it to our fans, and our fans designed it. This year it's a turquoise scarf that we have. So that's the story I tell when I'm talking about how we've encapsulated the people of New Mexico, and not all the people. Yes, sir?
Do you have a release party for every scarf?
We do. We just did one, how long ago was that, Monica? February, at Star Brothers Brewing, because they're our partners. They've invested in us, and we're giving back to them. And one of our other partners is Shutter Booth, Monica's business. So she came out. We did pictures and all different cool stuff. And Monica actually now keeps Albuquerque Soul scarves in her photo booth business. So when she's out of town doing all these events, that's one of the props that you can take a picture with. So it's been an awesome value for us. And whether we're at an event or not, the scarf's there, getting pictures, getting impressions around town. So there's a lot of benefits, obviously, to telling a story. Here are 5 great reasons, though. If you've got a customer that has a perception or a belief that says, well, you know what, we sponsored the blah, blah, blah soccer team 8 years ago when they were here. Or, oh, we're sponsoring this team. Or we're sponsoring the Lobos, right? The Lobos way bigger than I am. They're way bigger than our business. We've had sponsors that actually reduced the amount of their Lobo sponsorship and increased it with us because they realize they get more of a personal touch with us. So just because we're not the Lobos doesn't mean we still can't earn their sponsorship dollars. There's a sponsor that we have that's invested tens of thousands of dollars with us a year that has been with UNM before and said they still sponsor UNM, but they've taken some of those dollars and put them into us because they realize they get more out of it. They felt like at UNM they were just a banner on the wall. So when people say they have a perception or a belief, oh, well, soccer teams never make it, that's what they told us the first year. All these soccer teams never make it. Well, okay, you haven't met me yet, is what I said. I hate to sound cocky, but when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And here we are going into our 4th year. Another time you can tell a story in your sales presentation if you're going to simplify a complex idea. Who's got a business here that is complex to describe? So Gordon, I'm going to pick on you. You were the first hand up. How is it complex? And tell people, stand up and tell people what your business is.
We market reverse mortgages to senior citizens. So first off, most people either don't know what a reverse mortgage is, or 95% of the people who I talk to,
Yep, just hold it real close.
real close.
Yep, there you go.
There we go. For 95% of the people I talk to, what they think they know about them is wrong. So the biggest issue I have is education. I have to teach people what it is, how it works, and how it benefits them.
So have you used stories before to explain this?
Yeah.
Tell us a story.
I use a story, for example, when I do a class to realtors for 3 hours. I begin the class by saying, a wise man investigates what a fool takes for granted.
Ooh. I like
In
that.
fact, the problem is that people who don't investigate wind up spending and losing money. For example, I have a friend, July 28, 2014, We were sitting in the Church Street Cafe. My friend is Jim. Jim's a white-haired, relatively fit 70-year-old who has been a real estate agent for over 40 years. Jim turned to me and said, Gordon, one of the best financial decisions I ever made was doing that reverse mortgage. However, there's one thing I regret. I wish I'd done that reverse mortgage a year earlier when you first recommended it to me. But I listened to other people's opinions instead of doing my own research, and that mistake cost me $30,000. Then I go and explain how to
Perfect.
use the money.
So see what he did there? I mean, reverse mortgage is not exactly the sexiest topic in the world. But what he did is he was able to take you away from that. Can you tell the story about, let's call, was it Betty we called her?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell the story about Betty real quick?
We had a customer that,
And this is Sunshine Plumbing, by the way.
Sunshine Plumbing, and we also do heating and cooling. This was a customer that had purchased a furnace through Home Depot, and Home Depot hired the contractor to put it in. And something didn't go well during that install, so we got contacted by Home Depot and asked us to go and rectify the problem to make Miss Betty happy and make Home Depot look okay, make them look good for the sale. So we said, sure, apologize. We said, sure, we'll go take care of it, not knowing that Miss Betty was probably the most impossible person to please.
She took your breath away.
We went, we